window for the FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers as Gilas Pilipinas takes on Jordan.
We'll also talk about the athletes that made waves in the UAAP Season 85 Women's Volleyball Opening Weekend. And we'll talk about the Los Angeles Lakers' epic comeback as well as Damian Lillard's 71-point masterpiece. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. One win down, and hopefully, one more to go. Gilas Pilipinas returns on the hardwood as they take on Jordan in the final game of the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian Qualifiers. But before we take in what's happening on the ongoing matchup between Jordan and Gilas Pilipinas, let's take a look back at what went down in our first win against Lebanon. Our correspondent, Durin Suay Baguio, got to chat with some of the players.
Junmar, after di ka nakasama sa last 5 windows ng Gilas, kumusta yung experience na makabalik ulit?
Siyempre, doon pa rin yung masaya ako na nakasama ulit ako sa pool. Masaya ako na nakuha natin yung panalo to. So, credit sa team. Ganda ng lalo na sa mga coaching staff, nila Coach Jot, na Coach Team. Ganda ng preparation nila. Pinapay talaga nila yung team para sa game na to. So,
given na ikaw yung main big man, pinaka-veteran na big man ng team na to, ano yung reminder mo, lalo na sa mga batang players na naligdag?
Kailangan na namin sundin yung game plan namin. Then, maganda yung nilaro namin as a team.
Last question, paano mo napapanatili yung katawan mo, yung mind mo na healthy given na nagigilas ka and then PBA pa?
Mga lang, tulog, kain ng maayos, then yun lang, pahinga, katawan yung puhunan eh. So.
Mason, today is your first time debuting for Gilas. What was the whole experience like? Can you tell us how it was like?
It's an amazing feeling being out there in front of all these fans. It was something new to me because I've never played in front of so many people. But overall, it was a great experience.
You finished with 11 points, if I remember correctly, and you really maximized the minutes you were given. What fueled that performance?
Adrenaline. So just coming off the bench, hyping up all the guys, and then being able to step in the court really gave me a big adrenaline push. And then, I counted for it.
In this whole experience, what would you say is your biggest takeaway as a player and as a person?
Just the atmosphere. FIBA, it's a great competition. Lebanon, they're a great team. So being out there, it's unexplainable, really. So, but yeah, it was great. Yeah, thank you.
Justin, your debut game donning the Philippine jersey, what was that like?
Man, it just brought so much joy to me, and I'm just so happy. For the team, we got the win. That was the most important thing, and just being able to satisfy this crowd tonight.
Your debut game and you're already player of the game. What fueled that performance, Justin?
Just all around, the fans, the team, the coaches, everybody, of course, Coach Short, the whole coaching staff, they wanted me to be aggressive, and I just tried to definitely start off that way, and then the teammates got it going. They definitely helped me out, as far as overall about, the ins and outs of playing FIBA and international. So just all around, I'm just happy for everybody tonight.
You went up against a team led by a former teammate, right, Amir Saud. What was it like seeing him again, but this time on the opposite side of the court?
Man, it was good to see those guys. I haven't seen them in a few years, and unfortunately, what happened in Lebanon what that was, 2020 or 21, I'm not sure what year, but it's good to see them after that. I asked a couple guys about that, and told them I'm praying for them. So it's just good to see those guys in good spirits after all the country been through, and just overall, it was fun playing against them as well.
We now move on to the match at hand as we speak to our correspondent, Dip Dupianco, who is at the Philippine Arena in Bocaue, Bulacan. Dip, what's the mindset of Gilas Pilipinas tonight?
Pao and Diego, I'm here at the Philippine Arena in Bocaue, Bulacan for the 6th and final window of the FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers. It's actually the last game of Gilas Pilipinas as they face Jordan. Now, before the game, we got to speak to Coach Jong Uichico. Sabi niya sa atin that this game particularly, they have to limit the three-point shooting of Jordan. That's something that they were able to do back then in the last window in the home court of Jordan. But last Friday against Lebanon, that's something that Gilas was unable to do. So today, hopefully itong Gilas malimit na lang yung 3-point shooting ng Jordan. Now on top of that, sabi sa atin ni Coach Jong Ichiko that the players need to know how to stand their ground. Not just because it's the last game of the qualifiers or here on their home court, but because itong Jordan, napahiya sila last time out in their home court. And for sure, this squad wants to do the same thing in front of the Filipinos. So Gilas Pilipinas need to learn how to stand their ground today. And finally, of course, we know that the lineup is changing. Meron tayong bagong player today. Kevin Kiambao just fielded in for this game particularly. And Coach Jong told us this is the reason why they want to put players, new players, mga bata, so that come the World Cup in August, ready ang ating Gilas Pilipinas, that the coaches know what the players can do, they know what their strengths are, para pagdating sa World Cup, alam natin sino yung ipapasok sa ating final lineup. And that's the latest here at the Philippine Arena in Bukawi, Bulacan. Back to you, Pao and Diego.
Maraming salamat. That was our correspondent, Dip Tepianco. With him, no story is ever shallow. You can catch the ongoing game between Gilas Pilipinas and Jordan live on One Sports and via live stream on Signal Play and Smart Live Stream app. At the moment though, lahat ng mga sinabi ni Dip did not come through. 3-point shooting, Jordan has been having it. So far, 12 of 30 from beyond the arc. Itong Jordan shooting at 40%. At this very moment, Gilas Pilipinas trailing 66-51. You take a look at the first quarter, the first half in general, and defensively, Gilas having a hard time limiting the threes, as mentioned here by Dip.
Well, it's one thing to know what you're gonna stop and doing your homework and knowing that, Jordan is a good 3-point shooting team, and another thing to execute it on the floor and try to stop the 3-point shooting. Sometimes, even if you're there, you're challenging all the shots and the other team is just making it, it's really gonna be tough to play defense. Sometimes you just have to weather the storm when that's happening, and that's what Gilas has to do right now, because offensively, they can also provide the firepower that Jordan's bringing to them right now. The question is, can they stop and defend that Jordan team?
Of course, moving on to the other side naman, itong Gilas Pilipinas are actually shooting a better percentage from beyond the arc, around 46.6%. Pero 7 of 15, a lot smaller compared to Jordan. And you take a look at how Jordan has been scoring, can we say, well, base sa numbers, and of course, with the understanding that there's still a lot of basketball to be played at the moment, 4:55 left here in the third quarter, is defense the biggest issue of Gilas Pilipinas and something that we have to look to address after this window?
I think you would say so. I think giving up, 25 points in just 7 minutes in the first quarter, it's going to be tough for Gilas Pilipinas. But, with the puso that they play with, I think it's still possible to have a comeback here. Offense won't be a problem. Let's see if they get locked down on defense and finish this game strong against Jordan.
Absolutely. Again, you can catch that on One Sports Smart Live Stream app and the Smart Signal Play.
And after the break, we'll put the spotlight on athletes who made an impact in their UAAP women's volleyball debut. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back, you're watching The Game. The UAAP women's volleyball action is back in full force for season 85. Now, to name a few standouts in its opening weekend, we have with us volleyball analyst and fellow UP Fighting Maroon, Ayel Estranero. Ayel, great to have you back here on The Game.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having me tonight.
Alright, so the opening weekend for UAAP volleyball just finished and you covered some of the games, Ayel. And it was crazy. All teams playing the whole weekend. And let's talk about the standouts that really performed well during the weekend. So let's start it off with the super rookie. I mean, this player really doesn't play like a rookie and just, loves to compete inside the court. Let's talk about Angel Canino from DLSU, Ayel.
So I think how Angel Canino performed in their first game, it didn't shock everyone, but it actually impressed everyone even more. So she's the talk of the town right now. As a rookie, I think she played so smart, and more than the wits of volleyball, it was also her intensity and her versatility as well that really impressed a lot of people. So Angel Canino definitely is one of the standouts for the weekend.
Good start there for Angel Canino in her UAP debut. 18 points, 16 attacks, a block point, and an ace in a 5-set
And the tweet from the Phenom, Alyssa Valdez as well. So.
100%, of course. And can I just say, kanina sa intro ni Diego, he says, a fellow UP Fighting Maroon. That was actually part of the script on the prompter. He didn't come up with that. So there's a bit of bias in this segment here. But then let's move on first to the opposition of LaSalle UST. Si Ea Laure did shine. As typically she does. This doesn't seem like a surprise anymore when you talk about Laure and UST. What was special about her?
No, you said it right, Pao. Typically, just Ea Laure just being Ea Laure. Well, she didn't have such a spectacular game in terms of offense, but I chose her because I think she was the rock of UST in that game. It was a really tough match, but she was very composed the entire game. She was communicating really well with her teammates, which I think is a really good indication of a leader. And she had a lot of crucial points, very clutch player. Even her last point, which was just unfortunate that she made an error. But it was brave for her to actually take the risk to go for that deep cross-court attack during the time of the game.
And Ayel, we're not even surprised that Ea Laure is performing like this for UST. We've seen this in the last season. But what's the next level for Ea Laure to bring UST to greater heights this season?
Oh, I think Ea Laure is just being Ea Laure. She's been contributing the score department. I think what is needed more from the UST Golden Tigresses is, more contribution for the other players. Because, like we always say, volleyball is a team sport. You can't win by just having one player produce all the points.
Yeah, and when we're talking about girls that we expect to do well, we have to go to NU. Alyssa Solomon. The Season 84 best opposite spiker, 12 points, 10 attacks, a single block and single ace, beating Ateneo in straight sets. Again, not a surprise. Do you see growth in her game though?
Oh, a lot of growth. She's been maximizing her height so much in the game, and credit also to Camps Lamina for always setting her well, only just one blocker in front of her. She's very versatile and she's very smart. She's able to target really difficult zones on the right time. So I think for her, it's just really a matter of efficiency. That's why I chose her as one of the standouts for the first weekend.
And Ayel, do you think Alyssa will be like a consistent weapon for this NU team? Because this NU team is just loaded with talent. I mean, they're the defending champions for a reason, Ayel.
Oh, definitely. She's going to be one of the go-to players. But more than her standing out, it was their NU just really executing their system flawlessly. They talked about their faster system. And we saw that in their game against Ateneo, really putting Ateneo in a difficult time to convert.
And of course, let's talk about the two setters that you did name. Let's start off first with Adamson. Itong si Louie Romero. Adamson defeated Yui in straight sets. And with Louie Romero, what made you pick her as one of the setters to watch out for, especially after that first weekend?
I think Louie Romero is just like Ea Laure being Ea Laure. Louie Romero is just being Louie Romero. She's been compared so much to Gia de Guzman, who has so much talent in terms of setting distribution, and that's what Louie Romero actually showed in their first game against UE. She was really able to activate all her attackers, even some loose balls. She was able to put her attackers in a very comfortable position. So the skills needed to be a great setter is with Louis Romero. It's just a matter of her really maximizing and executing. So really a great showing for her in their first game against you. In fact, they even have a set that they only committed one error.
Wow.
So much consistency for this team.
And let's talk about the other setter that you chose for the standouts the last weekend, Tin Ubaldo of FU, who actually defeated UP under Coach Tina Salak.
Exactly. I think everyone's surprised that I choose Tin Ubaldo because, you have setters like Louis Romero, Mars Alba, and, Cams Lamina of NU. But I chose Tin Ubaldo because out of all the players, I've seen the biggest improvement from her. I saw her play last season. Her setting in terms of leading the offense, she hesitated a lot, but this season she's playing with more confidence. She's more sure, and just like Louis Romero, she was really able to activate all her attackers. And I'm pretty sure the reason why she's more confident in playing better this season is because she has the best guidance in her coach, the legend setter, Tina Sala.
I was going to say, when we were going to talk about the most energetic player for FEU, sasabihin ko sana si Tina Salak, diba? No, but
Exactly, during the game.
we picked si Tin Ubaldo. You take a look at si Tin Ubaldo, you talk about yung improvements niya just a while ago, and just how difficult, or just how drastic rather, was the improvements for you to actually pick her despite all the other bigger names that you mentioned. Because, again, those were some big names to kind of gloss over.
No, just really a big improvement for her because her decision making is so much different and it's very crucial for a setter. Last season, she has a lot of miscues with her spikers, but this season, she's just really more confident. I couldn't expound so much about that because her performance last game really just showed how different her playmaking is compared to last season.
And last season I remember we were still kind of rediscovering volleyball, women's volleyball, because of the long break of the pandemic. But then a quicker turnaround right now. How do all of these teams look now that you've seen most, if not all of them? How do all these teams look in terms of the quality, in terms of improvement, and how much more excited should volleyball fans be moving forward?
Oh, I couldn't count the number of times I said, wow, crazy, wild, while watching the games this weekend. A lot of promise, not just for the seniors, but more so for the rookies. A lot of standouts. It was hard to choose, only 5 players. But again, with the games coming so fast, it's very important to win more games, and the wins and the losses will impact the mental part of the game. So those who won games already would want to win more to build that confidence, and the one who lost would want to bounce back to build that confidence and not start doubting their system.
Ayel, we really appreciate your time. We really appreciate all the wows that you've gave us, or at least told us to, okay, look at this player kasi wow talaga. Of course, to all the fans out there, you can catch the UAAP volleyball action live every Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Ayel, maraming salamat ulit.
Thanks, Ayel.
Thank you.
Watch the games on One Sports, One Sports Plus, Signal Play, and the Smart Live Stream app. After the break, we'll break down the biggest NBA comeback since 2002, courtesy of the Los Angeles Lakers and Damian Lillard. Of course, a different game. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching the game. There have been some crazy comebacks this season, but none quite as big as the one pulled off by the purple and gold today. The Los Angeles Lakers defeated the Dallas Mavericks with the biggest come-from-behind victory after going down 27 points. Woo! And not to be outdone by La La Land, Dame Time delivered in a big way against the Rockets with a career-high 71 points to give the Blazers the dub.
That's my guy. 71.
That's Diego's guy. Yeah. Whew. Take a look at that. Oldest player in NBA history to score 70 points. Now, with me to talk about the Western Conference action is NBA Philippines All-Star analyst Diego Dario. You know, we were talking about comebacks a while ago. We're hoping for a comeback right now for Gilas Pilipinas. We're playing Jordan at the moment. Pero focus muna tayo dito sa NBA. You take a look at the numbers for the Lakers. 3-game winning streak. New look. They need every single win here. People say like, oh, they're still in play-in range. Pero each win matters so much now at this point.
Can you just talk about the Blazers, please? No,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Let's talk about the Lakers comeback. That was really crazy. When I saw this score, I think, you know, this was a game that the Lakers will lose already, but that's crazy. The way they played defense against that Dallas team because of their new additions in the team, actually, especially Vanderbilt, who guarded Luka Doncic and all the other star players of the Mavs, really provided a lot of damage defensively for the Lakers. And of course, add to that the offensive firepower of an Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And wow, the Lakers are actually looking good this season. They just need a couple of wins to get to that 8th spot and maybe, you know, enter the playoffs as we're going to that round of the NBA.
You know, Utah Jazz legend Jared Vanderbilt it really hurts that we lost him. But then, you know, all joking aside, 15 points, 17 rebounds, 4 steals. The defense though on Luka Doncic, it felt like this LA team did not have that type of lockdown defender prior to him, prior to this trade, or if ever there was, we really didn't see it as much as we wanted to. Question is, can the Lakers still make the playoffs in your mind? Is it more feasible right now after the trade? Have their chances increased exponentially?
I think the chances have increased exponentially just because of the players and the fit. But in that game earlier against Dallas, actually, LeBron was, you know, had an injury. He played through it, but, you know, after the game, he was seen limping. So that's going to be tough for the Lakers if they still want to make it to the playoffs. And also, I mean, talking about the Lakers, I think they can still do it even without LeBron James. It's going to be tough, but they're going to be doing it defensively.
You know what? I have to apologize because we don't have enough time for Dame Time.
71 points, by the way. That's 71. The story right there. 71 points. That's crazy.
It's insane. Again, we'll talk about Damian Lillard some other time, but then I'm sure you'll be here for that.
Well, I mean, Damian Lillard, just check out social media, everything, especially my social media, because I'm a huge fan. That's it for tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm Diego Dario.
And I'm Paolo De Rosario. This has been The Game.